it's the impact mapping workshop, and the first question on the slide says, are you still building features or are you creating an impact? And the question is, what does it mean? I mean, is it like, yeah, you got your user story, you're building things, or do you really look at something your company does and you try to change maybe the behavior of your users, you want to change something that you get more money, and so on. So impact mapping is actually a technique to get to the point. Right. So what is this workshop? Actually, the workshop is based on a book. And that's the book from Gojko Acic, and it's called Impact Mapping. So it's quite a short read. You see, it's not that big. It's really lovely, contains a lot of exercise, not exercises, but good examples and pictures. And so I really suggest to read that, even though if you know how impact mapping works. So it's really nice one. And actually the technique is quite old. Well, old means like he wrote the book in 2012, so it's not something new. But from my experience now, it's getting more trendy. So product owners, business analysts, they heard about that and they now try to use it. So the workshop we're doing, it's based on the workshop from Gojko. He open sourced on GitHub. So you just can take the material there and as well like adjust it. So I made it fit actually for like 1 hour, no not 1 hour actually, 90 minutes, 100 minutes. And I reduced a few things because sometimes you can do a workshop much deeper, you spend half a day or a day, and sometimes it's just like that you get the idea. So actually it's open source, it's Creative Commons license, so you just can go and take it. Well, yeah. So the question is, where does impact mapping fit in? We heard already about the thing yesterday that, for example, people are doing specification by example or example mapping, or they do story mapping and so on. And with impact mapping, we are actually doing the first thing. We try to find out why we are doing something. And it's just like, hey, we go for the goals, we go for the impacts, and then from there we start doing something, and actually we create stories, maybe we create a story map, and then, yes, we drill down and create examples, stories, and then we write code. So we will come to this slide afterwards again. So just like for you that you know where we put this method in and actually where, yeah, it really makes sense to use it. Okay, so that's about the workshop we are doing in the next 100 minutes. And a short thing about me. So my name is Patrick and I'm from Switzerland. So I'm based in Zurich and I'm there involved in various communities. So especially the craftsmanship community. We have a meetup we run. We do Socrates events as well as our colleagues in Germany and some other places as well. I'm involved in a Vox conference, so that's basically a Java conference. I'm teaching at the University of Applied Science in Zurich, and I'm also like working as a craftsman / consultant for a customer using those kind of techniques, helping teams to get better on anything. So my goal is actually to just learn all the time, and that's also like the thing why I'm doing the things. So I really love to learn new things, and then also like here, getting feedback from you how to get better on certain things, getting new insights and so on. So this is just a little bit my background, and that's why I'm here. So my question is, I want to know also something about you. So why are you here? Who of you used impact maps already? One. Okay. Oh, I'm great. That's great that you're here, so you can actually support me. How did you use it?
I like the book. I started from the book.
Okay.
And then I just try as an experiment at the job.
Okay.
And it was quite successful in a way that we had a problem of integrating with other applications, and we didn't know how to do it, and in this way we have extended the product.
Okay.
But as I said, it's just I just did it just once in a production mode, something like that.
Okay.
And I would like to see more and get more insights.
Okay.
This is why I came here.
Who of you is a developer? Who of you is like product owner or business analyst? Okay. Some other roles. I mean, yes, testers, of course. Operational team. Okay. Do you have stakeholders coming to you asking to implement already a solution and you don't know why?
That's very common, especially with the outsourcing companies, right?
Yes.
Because if you work in a product-oriented company, that's it's more transparent. You have less lines.
Yes.
If you go to outsourcing, then it's of course the process is not very transparent.
Yeah, but that's not only true for outsourcing. That's also true if you're working like in a corporate environment.
Corporate.
Okay. Yeah, that means bank, for example. Somebody approaches you saying, "I want to have this." You have no clue what. You don't know if marketing was involved and so on.
But it's also an issue with the level of access to information in those very highly regulated environments, let's say.
And no, I don't think so.
So it's just a management.
Yeah, it's a management thing, and you know, hiding information is actually the one who has the information has the power, right?
Indeed.
So, but the thing is, for example, if you are in a startup environment and you want to actually, who is working in a startup? Yes, one. Okay. So for them, it's really nice to find out what's actually the right thing. Okay. So thank you. I got a little bit of feeling about how this is actually how your setup is actually. Okay. So now we dive into the workshop, and the workshop uses a specific business domain. So we will work on this business domain together, that we also can exchange the ideas and also compare what the colleagues in the other groups did, right? So I just introduced the business domain, and then actually we start with the thing. The business domain is very simple. It's a website, and on the website we have concerts listed. So you have event locations, you have bands, you have concerts, you have merchandising products, and so on. It's just like a platform for events, basically. So music lovers go there and probably go and also buy tickets from it. And of course, as I said, there are some ads. So somehow the company has to make money on it. Well, the question is, where does the company gets the money from? So in the middle you see the profit. So the money is basically ticket sales. Then there is some advertising, and there is some merchandise as well. And also you see the distribution of the regular users. So it's basically Europe-based. We have like the guys between 15 and 20 are probably more often on the page, and the other users are like 25 to 35. That's just like the case. And also the popular pages are usually the pages with the musicians. So you have information about the musicians. The musician can actually place information, news on it, new events, of course. And on the other side, we have also like the locations which present the events, and also some place to exchange. So that's basically the company, right? Questions to that? So that's your setup now for the exercise. Sorry. So that's the setup. And now the question is, what do you want to do? So the hardest thing actually is defining a goal you want to achieve. And when you create a an impact map, the goal is actually really the key you want to work around. So you want to find new things around this specific goal. So let's assume a manager comes to you and you're the team. You're delivering all the time features on a website, right? And the manager comes and tells you, I want to have an iPhone app. So, do you think that is the goal?
Usually not. You want to achieve a new partner or something also.
Okay.
Benefit accessibility also.
So the question is, what could that be?
It's a solution.
Yes, it's already the solution. So what could you imagine? What's behind that? Just let's assume, and I'll try to be your product owner, and you have to ask me questions to find out what that could be.
Why?
Why? Well, yes, you can always ask why. No, that's a good point. I mean, I can tell you, the management, they found out that we have a crappy website, everything is built on Flash, and they have an iPhone and they can't access the website. So,
You can fix the website.
yes, but you could fix the website, yes. But, I mean, another solution might be a website, right? It's not the iPhone app. But still, like, Gerard would have to ask why again, right? Why do you want to target mobile users? Why do you want to have an iPhone app, not an Android app? And the answer would be something like, yes, management and marketing, they use iPhone apps. So we want to show them an iPhone app, right? So, well, okay, that's actually not the thing. When we look at the distribution on the whole thing here, management is probably not the target group, right? So then we have to ask again, why, right? So when you look at the revenue streams, and I'm now still your product owner, telling you, well, ticket sales somehow works, it's quite a good thing, but probably we might want to use more ads on a mobile. So maybe ads are the thing. It's not a revenue stream. Or maybe you want to put some other things. What could you sell with the ads? When you look at our profit, what could you sell on specific pages for artists, for example?
Sell their songs.
Sorry?
You can sell their songs.
Their songs, yes. T-shirts, DVDs, merchandise, just everything, right?
Just streaming.
Yeah, basically just like things, yeah.
But you
Quick
could actually
streaming.
you could actually sell music.
You could sell music,
Not physical stuff, but digital product.
but you could do both actually. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So the point I wanted to go with you is like, just because marketing tells you want to have an iPhone app, probably their goal is not to have really an iPhone app. Maybe they want to increase sales on something. And in our example, we're going to work with, we want to increase sales in merchandise. And now you see, an iPhone app is a solution maybe, but, well, there might be other solutions to that. So that's the thing. You have to ask why quite a lot of times to get to the point. And yes, we know that, so that's actually the toughest part, to identify the real goal. So,
You have a question over here?
yeah, sure.
It's a question about why. I also tell developers all the time that they should ask why. They reply usually that hear that I kind of get them stuck, is that they're afraid that their boss or manager will be like angry that they ask them why.
Yes, I mean, I had similar experience, but the thing is, if you get more senior, sometimes you really can ask, right? Or if you have trust in your team, if you have good culture, you can go and ask. right?
You don't have to ask why like a child, saying, why do I have to do this?
Yes.
Right? You could ask more constructively.
So that
Can you
means
explain to me
also-
the background so that I can help you?
Exactly, so that means a little bit of skills as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but of course, yes, for more junior ones, it's more difficult. For more senior ones, when you have even trust in the company and maybe you're the team lead or whatever, then it's much easier to ask. So actually the thing is, we want to identify the primary goal. But if we go for the goal, the question is, well, is the goal making more money, or is the goal not losing money, right?
Or users?
Yes, yes. So it's over both. You can gain or you can save something. And the question is also, what is actually the value? What is actually business value? And I have there a link with a very nice short post. And basically everything turns down to the point that, yes, you don't want to lose customers. You want to have the customer spending money on something. And if you can say the customer is willing to buy something, actually you're generating value for the customer. So that's the real value usually you go for. Yes. So, great. So the goal is, in our case, when we want to sell more merchandise, for example, then actually it goes into the direction we want to get actually more money. So we want to get more money by selling more merchandise.
One of the interesting things I find is the difference between being in a corporate IT environment versus a product environment.
Company, yeah.
Is in product companies, you're always trying to increase value, and in IT, you're always trying to reduce cost.
Okay. Well, yeah. So probably it depends on the department. If it's like infrastructure there on this side, definitely you want to
So
save.
typically, you're automating things in an IT environment to
Yeah.
reduce the amount of work for the business,
Okay.
so that they need fewer staff or stuff like that. So it tends to be a kind of a slant on. It's a different mindset.
Because you're selling hours. What do you mean?
Well,
One thing you're selling
because
something
you're
to the customer.
spending, because your biggest cost is all the employees that you have to deliver the business process, right? So you're trying to streamline the business process as opposed to thinking in terms of what more can I provide
Yeah.
to the customers.
So what do you think of this goal? Raise profit by selling more merchandise. Is this one actionable or measurable?
We need to have it measurable.
Yeah.
It seems to
We need a size.
Yes, we need a size. And what would you suggest?
Okay.
You want to put the number there?
Yes, a number and a timeline, of course.
Yes. So the thing is, it could be something like this, right? You want to have like from 1 million to 2 million. The question is, like, if you want to define a goal like this, well, you can do that, but it doesn't have to be so strict. You could also just say like increase it by 30% or something.
Within and keep it running for.
Yes, of course. But the thing is also then, if you just like define all the constraints, your chart will be quite big. But yes, definitely you have to define the boundaries.
Because you can get there, but you can kill everybody around. So then next year you don't have anything left.
Yeah. So, well, that's actually a good point. Now, the impact map is something which is transparent. You work with a group on, and you see also things which are related. So, yes, you know why we are doing things, so that you still are in business next year, right? So that's actually the hope when you do this impact map. What we also need to know is, now we have defined the goal, and that's actually the first step. Now the question is, who could help us doing this? Well, which are the persons which are involved? And for example, there you could go, and this will actually lead afterwards to the first exercise. There you can go and define some different actors. And you can group them in primary, secondary, and offstage actors. So that means primary actors is something like a user, so which interacts with our platform. A secondary actor might someone be who is part of the platform, I mean being a service, or like supporting a service. And you have, of course, off-state actors, like management or shareholders or whatever, right? So you have different personas in your whole system, and you need to be aware of those. So when you define these personas, you should be specific. So if you can name someone, like Mike from the marketing department, just name him. Because everyone knows who's Mike, right? So you have a picture of him. Or you could go and use personas, or you use a role or a job title, or you could even go like with the name of the marketing department and put that one as a persona. But the thing is, try to be as specific as possible so you can actually picture the person who is involved in the whole system.
So when you say in this order, is that priority? It's best to be number one?
Yes.
And failing all of 1, 2, and 3,
Yes.
go with 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it could be that like one guy from that department is very key for my solution, right? And if you just name the whole thing, then you maybe forget about who that was. And maybe just this guy and the whole department can do something on that. So it's very important that one is, yeah, that's actually the highest, the first one we should name before we actually do something else.
So does it correct that if we choose specific individual for persona and suddenly that individual moved somewhere for some department, no one works on that?
Then
It
you,
still stays a persona.
yeah, but then you have to adjust your map.
We can adjust.
Why not? Always eat it afterwards. I mean, it's something you have to play with just like represents something. And we have to discuss this as well, like in the last part, actually, how you continue working on this. So my next thing is, we start now with the group exercise. So the idea is that you form groups. I think we should have like 4 groups, 4 or 5 groups. Get some pens, introduce yourself first to the group, and then when I say go, we have 5 minutes to find personas in our system. Okay? So get some post-its, get some pens, make 5 groups, distribute yourself, introduce you shortly to the group.
4 groups, 1 in each corner?
Yes. I think that would be best, yeah.
Is it possible to jump screen back to the describing?
Sure, I will. And then we will to the personas thing or to the domain? To the domain, yeah.
You want to join the wall? We're all hiding in the back corner. We're going to get noticed.
So still, the goal is, remember, that we want to increase the sales of merchandise by 30%. And you now need to search for personas. In what? Okay. Try to brainstorm and write them down and post it on the wall.
That was an abstract question.
That might be a lot.
I mean, it's really
Persona.
Elena
Elena knows what the Ukraina synchronously measure this impression kultura. Because this will be best. Elena, so you care
We might have millennials. I've heard. 60%.
Well, all of them are young millennials.
Look at them here.
Ce să fie, Elena? E bun și numerul să scrie cu A.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last 10%.
Da, e la liceu.
We don't have the time to work on websites, classic websites. We can start up. Please,
Single și doi Cobra Effect. Care cumpără bilete. Astea erau music fans sau
an ad will help.
ce fel de muzică? Ordinea era asta, pentru că ei sunt cei care plătesc. Și dacă vreau să fiu un manager care vrea un proiect, trebuie să vină ceva ce omul vrea să cumpere fără să-i facă nimic. Secondary, de exemplu, managerul de la departamentul de vânzări e interesat să crească vânzările. Deci el e interesat direct, de probabil bonusul lui depinde de asta. Dar el trebuie să facă ceva pentru primary care să cumpere fără intervenția. Sau să, mă rog, să îmbunătățești suport.
Maybe they can choose to process second and once around.
Da, cred că asta o să faci o diferență. Să punetăm mai multe persoane.
Start writing.
My point is just it's not only about the user of the website. At the moment, for users, you have maybe afterwards mobile users, maybe you have them already.
We don't know.
Maybe they can run Flash, right? We have also what stakeholders.
If we're working with cliches,
Sales manager.
you know how metalheads always have a lot of t-shirts on the favorite. So that's a cliche as well, right?
It's the same with your call center.
Call center,
You can assume that.
call center manager, stakeholder, second level. She's the first, yeah, user. Dacă avem website, probabil că toți stakeholderii noștri sunt oameni. Dacă vrem să mărim baza de utilizatori ca să facem vânzări, dar vrem să mărim profitul prin a vinde mai multe produse utilizatorilor existente, nu prin a mări baza de utilizatori. Adică să avem pe bunicul facilitate la pierdere la lipsă. Unde sunt? Acum vrem să ne dăm seama cine sunt ei, ca să ne dăm seama ulterior ce le putem da mai mult, știi? Deci acum cred că primul ce trebuie să ne gândim la cine ar putea fi. Cum ai zis, un plătit care cumpără și dacă putem cumva proporțional numărul de persoane bazate pe statistici, putem ne conecta la realitate. Imaginăm, de exemplu, din cei 60% ne ducem 2 persoane și una dintre cei din grupul de prezență, ca să reprezentăm ei. Hai să scriem. Hai să scriem. Father, nu știu ce, câți ani are și Se facem o descriere așa scurtă și concretă, cine ar fi persoana aia și de ce ar cumpăra, adică dacă nu e evident să scrie de ce ar cumpăra. Ce idee mai aveți pe mine? Puteți să mai punem pe mai multe post-it-uri, nu să fac.
Momentan 2 euro, ok. Still in euro. Deci, cum e virus sau acolo? La 33 de ani.
35, exact.
What you put there seems to be
Father, da?
Yeah, if you see someone raises a hand, you also
Și ce face?
What does this mean?
just do it and I will explain afterwards.
Okay.
This sign means if you see someone having the hand up and that means you have to be quiet. You look at this guy who put the hand up first and you just do the same, so it's actually like a huge wave going through the room and you get the room very fast, quiet, and I don't have to cry. So that's a really nice thing. So we'll just practice that afterwards again. So if you see me next time, just do the same and be quiet.
Without raising the hand.
You have to raise the hand as well, so others will see in your group that they should be quiet as well. Yeah, great. So you came up with some personas. Can you name a few? What you did? Can you start? You don't have to do all. Maybe just 2 or 3.
Okay, I'll pick one on either side. We had Jane from the purchases department who gets the merchant who buys the merchandise. And we had Ozzy, who is 17 and into metal music and buy a lot of t-shirts.
Okay. What about you? 2, 3 rows. Quite a lot.
We were brainstorming.
Yes, that's all.
We're generating
Awesome.
ideas.
Yes. What do you have?
We haven't had a chance to organize them yet.
So you have some parents, you have some partners, marketing, product owner. Okay. Do you have the musicians as well? I don't know. Just asking.
Might be partners.
acting, no acting.
Now you have the musicians. Okay. So what did you find?
We have Elena, who is from Ukraine.
Okay.
She's single. She likes pop music.
Okay.
We have Tommy from UK. 35 years. He's a father, digital user, and
Okay.
rock fan. And Maria from Romania, non-digital and classic fan music.
Okay. So you actually did some personas. You defined a person. Maybe you know her, or Tommy and Maria and the other Elena, exactly. You as well, and those guys went more for like the roles, the departments, and so on. Okay, great. So it's okay for you if for the next steps you steal some ideas from your colleagues, right? So I mean, just brainstorming for 5 minutes of the roles in the system is quite a, it's not enough time. So, but still we gathered some ideas. Great. So what we would do now is, there is a short break on the plan because 35 minutes are already over. And then we get to the very important part, and it's actually called behavior change. And this is the most important thing actually in the impact map. So in the next slide. Just grab a coffee, maybe you get some other ideas for personas, put it there, and come back in 10 minutes. So, you probably know the typical user story, right? So, for example, this might be a user story, which tells you something about reporting, and the user is, for example, a risk controller and he wants to have a report. And the thing is, the last part, actually, which is the most interesting part, right? So to find some exceptions in the whole system, he wants to have a report, right? But if we actually check for exceptions in the system, and it's not the Java exception, it's more like a problem, like we have in production some issues or things are costing too much or whatever. Well, we have already some behavior because he knows that he has some issues in the system, he is asking for reports. But how do you think? How could we change, or what is actually the behavior here? Do you think? What is the behavior? Which is the interesting part?
The risk controller's behavior.
Yes.
So he knows.
Maybe what happens exactly when risk control identifies an exception? What happens?
Yeah, but maybe also not the what happens afterwards, but he wants to identify exceptions, right? He anyway wants that. So that part is the interesting part. And the thing is, well, he does it already. He knows he has some exceptions. But now how could we change this behavior here? What do you think? How could we adjust this phrase in a way that it means something that it's different from the actual state?
So it's identified problems.
In order to reduce the
Reduce.
anomalies.
So my point here is that yes, that's the important part, but actually I want, as a risk controller, I want to identify things faster, differently, right? So he knows he has problems already, he can identify it, but having it faster actually might mean something when we search for a solution. So really that's why it's that red and that fast. That faster is important actually. So when we go for behavior changes, then you can usually use this little checklist where you say something, I do something new, I start doing something, or I stop doing something, or maybe I do something differently, right? So, but it's not that it's still the same. So for example, when we look at our example with the merchandise shop, and if I have users, I don't want to make users buying merchandise because they do that already, right? They're not just buying enough. So I'm searching for a change that maybe they can buy it faster. Like as we know from Amazon, if a request if a request on a page is slower, actually they lose customers, right? So maybe performance might be a solution then afterwards. So the thing is really, how can I change the current state of someone? Like the thing we did with the faster. And then maybe you go to the next persona and identify other things. Right?
So we have to just assume a certain behavior.
Yes, definitely.
Assume and then define a new one. Or
Yes.
an improvement.
How do you know that, like, it's the truth? You never know. It's always an assumption.
You have to verify it.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so pick one persona first, and then try to find behavior changes. First their behavior, and then how to change it. For selling merchandise, the thing is, like, when she's on a website,
the amount of
what does she now, and what does she do differently?
What I say is that we provide
So we can map it afterwards.
Can we give also some
What
chance
is
to
the
this one?
and then
Yes.
change.
Yes.
Festivals,
We
don't
there's
do the
right
already
there.
merchandise that sell.
Discount voucher, right?
They probably affiliate links from
relates to the fact that the temperature
and you feature the
problematical.
And if the guy presses it, then actually the web process, and even if the guy buys something else, you get to find
Only one item.
More visibility of the relevant items.
Yeah. So she needs to see it more. Yes. Exactly. They're very
How do I write this into words?
That's really the tough part actually, finding the change that you don't close the funnel, right?
See more products,
Yeah.
something like.
Because then
We still have to train a little bit on this. I usually have 10 seconds for 200 persons, and even if half of the group doesn't know in the room how it works, they are even faster than you. And by the way, my girlfriend actually works with kids, like in kindergarten, and this is like the music school sign. And they know they can do it themselves as well, so you're allowed and invited to do it yourself as well, and it just works even there. So if they can do that, you can do it as well. Okay. So, now you realize it's really the tough part to find some good behavior changes. Can you maybe mention one or two from your group to the others? You want to start?
Raise awareness of the products in this category actually, in the merchandise.
Okay.
In the
Merchandise, yeah.
merchandise.
Yeah, okay. Sounds very nice. You found you did something on another role, right?
Also on users and on data analysts. So which one?
Doesn't matter. Just
Okay. For users, secured online payment.
okay.
Which is important. Buying fewer steps also we did that, we said that, and various things on the improved user interface and performance, like make the products more visible, make the offers more visible,
Okay.
and availability to log in with social media accounts.
Okay.
Change the way they log in.
Make it maybe more easier to
Yes.
get people on board.
We use
Yeah.
like your Google account for everything.
Okay. Wow. If you do something like this, then you can even like connect with friends and doing other features afterwards. So very nice for solutions, right? But yeah. Okay.
We have just a couple of changes. One behavior change is that instead of buying stuff before the concert or at a random time, we are really targeting to buy after the concert, because at the concert it was a long queue, you don't want to stand in that queue. And when you finally got there, your size was out on the t-shirt, so you hate it. Therefore, we like you to buy it afterwards, or offer you the chance, which would be a behavior change. We was also thinking about stuff like making sure that the site is attractive, depending a little bit who you are. So one of our personas, he's 17 years old, he's very much into metal. Another persona, she's 15, she's into pop music. They probably hate each other's preferences regarding how the site should look like.
Okay.
So we are thinking of different landing pages with different artists or things like that to make them really want to come back.
customize the experience.
Yeah.
So customized experience in a sense.
Okay.
And change the behavior that they will actually come back more
But-
frequent.
You still don't know, you don't have to know at the point who you know the person actually, but for example, you don't need to know already how you would do that, right? The what will actually be afterwards.
Sure.
So now you could do some data analysis afterwards, right? Or doing other things, but we try to, as I told every group, we try really to let the space for solutions open. That's really, really key. If you go for, we had the example over there with the one-click buying from Amazon. That's a solution for buying faster things. It's more convenient, but actually there might be other solutions in the space. By the way, it's patented from Amazon, so I can't do the same, right? I'm not allowed to. So yeah, I can.
It's just the customized experience.
Yes, exactly.
And we just provide to why and how.
Exactly.
How will come after.
Yeah. Perfect. So the impact mapping structure. We were waiting for that, right? Like more than an hour. It's this one here. It's the why, which means it's the goal. It's the who is actually the persona you defined, and yes, the service or the stakeholders in general, and the how we were working on. The how is actually the behavior change. So what do you think? What's the what?
The outcome, right?
What's the outcome?
Are the actions.
Something that you can measure, evaluate, like if it's an improvement, it's like a goal. No?
No, it's not the goal. The goal is the what. But the what is what we are doing. That's the solution. Now, for buying faster, one-click buying would be the solution. The what? I'm implementing one-click buying. I'm implementing Facebook login. I'm sending follow-up emails. That's the what. And as you can see, well, here on the picture, you might have multiple what's for something, right? And the idea is when we create this, then we actually have a path in this thing. It might look really like this, that even nodes are connected. Sometimes it looks like a tree. And when we are evaluating afterwards a solution, then actually we are choosing a path for that. And the great thing about this is, now we map different stakeholders. And as I said, we want to sell more merchandise to raise actually the profit. But selling the merchandise like to the user is just one thing. Maybe we can sell the merchandise to someone else, to some other persona. That would pop up now on the board, right? On the map. So we might find different strategies, different ways how to achieve our goal, which is actually very valuable. So the why, the goal, the who, the persona, the how is the behavior change, which still lets open the idea, what to do and what is actually in the end the solution. So I will now let it stay like this for the moment because we have another break, and then afterwards we will use your cards to adjust this. And then we have to discuss about certain things like, where are the user stories? How do I get to the user stories now? Because I have the path to it, but the user stories are not in here. Or, for example, how is this connected with business decisions and features? Yeah, well, yeah, that's very related actually. And how you work with that, and what kind of context you could use, and that's something we discuss in the next 35 minutes. Okay, so short break and then the last part. So let's go to the next step. I hope you had some aha moments. Did you? Okay, see? So the next part actually of the exercise is to create this kind of picture, right? So please also try to come up with some solutions. Now the solutions are allowed. Take the post-its, and that's why we did it in multiple steps. Rearrange your picture and then try to set up something like this. I mean, I know we don't have arrows, right? But if you have kind of a grid structure, like the first one is the why, the who is one column, the how is another column. It's actually quite easy to do this on a table as well. So you don't need to have the arrows, so you just can do it yourself. Try to rearrange the things you have already, come up with a few what's, and then we will check the results afterwards. Usually on a drawing you need a border or you need to mark certain things. That's actually very valuable.
I can take care of that.
Okay. So the increase, merchandise sale.
And this would be how?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm
No worries.
Exactly. So that's your goal. And then you easily can write why there, or we put another post there so we know it's the why. Yes. And it's very, giving context on any diagram you have is very, very important.
Although these are two
Also doesn't necessarily take the drawing to say what kind of light level you have, right? It's always important that you know what is this thing around. Yes. So just helping others. You're looking at this, and then you see the title, and I'm in on this focus.
goal we should make, not become evil. Like you mentioned,
Questa stazione è un guapa generico sport, non molto più
Don't become even.
Noi ci avevamo specific cifre, faccio cassa
So, if you like, you can sit down now. We just have to talk about a few thoughts in general. Now you have an impact map, right? You drew certain things. You have now a vision or a goal. You know what to do. Well, no, actually you don't know what to do. It's just like a map with solutions on it. So what would be the next step actually if you have a impact map? And the impact map you're taking, it might look like this, just as an example. And you see there is at the end where deliverable is written. But do you think, for example, your solution you have, for example, the Facebook login or the Facebook now the what is already the Facebook login, right? So do you think that's already just one user story?
No, for sure.
Yes, it's not. It's high likely that you actually need multiple user stories for doing that. But the great thing about the impact map is now you have, for example, the personas defined, so you can write the user stories, you have the persona, you know why you want to do that, but still the what you have to break down in multiple pieces. Yes?
I still feel like just going to user stories at this point seems like a waste because everything that we did was based on assumptions. So we have a lot of assumptions there, and we need to first validate some of those at least. Most. Okay.
Yes. So that's really a good point. Everything is based on assumptions, and that means every step is actually based on assumptions. But we don't know that better. The point really is when we, for example, say we design some user stories for a thing, then it's more like we say, well, we take one tree, actually, one branch, and we follow that branch. And as you also can see on this diagram, we just didn't do anything in here. Not just because we didn't have enough time. Maybe it's out of focus for the moment. So you're actually allowed to stop everywhere you want, and you go more into details where you think it's worth time spending, right? So yes, you maybe run some experiments, you have some measurements for your values, and you decide, I'm taking that branch, that path, and then I decide to write some user stories. Definitely, yes. But the thing is also, now I have a picture where I have options for different things. And I'm aware of, and the thing is also, I don't have surprises. So I know a little bit more about my context. But I'm prepared for surprises which might come up and I know more about, so I'm not surprised anymore. So it's also like very strategic and prepared for things which might happen in the future, and I know how things maybe are connected as well. Yes. So it might lead to stories or to epics in the end, and then you go actually further and you just apply like story mapping or yes, any other techniques. So I and my colleague, we had also a very nice discussion with Goiko directly, because the question was really like, this user story thing, is the what a user story or not? And in the end, actually, the takeaway from that was that he said, we are actually looking at business value, business goals here in impact maps, and they are disconnected from user stories, because in business terms, you work on bigger things. When you work on user stories, you're working on small things. So that means you have quite a lot to do. There might be multiple times to achieve, multiple teams to do a what. Yeah, so there's quite a lot of work to do something for a behavior change. So they are not definitely directly connected. And sometimes, yeah, it takes a while until things are developed. Yes. So, who knows this one? If you do something like this mapping, you have to be aware of the Cobra Effect. So that means if you change something, for example, in your system, you might have side effects. And the Cobra Effect means basically that in British India times, they said you get money if you kill a cobra, and if you bring the cobra, then you get the money, right? So the thing is, smart entrepreneurs in India started to farm cobras just for that purpose. In Europe, actually, the same happened with rats. So they cut the tail of a rat, and the rat was still alive. You saw even rats without a tail, and they were like multiplying, so you had more rats actually to take their tail, right? So it becomes an industry. So you have to be aware of that you don't send the wrong signals, and yeah, you really want to achieve your goal and not like creating a checklist someone optimized for. So that's something you have to be aware of. So because you define something, it might have an impact.
This is actually tricking the numbers, you know? Like every time you put measurements on something, some people will learn how to cheat them, right?
Yeah, if the business goal of a nearshoring company is creating more revenue, means developer needs to spend more time, right? So you can trick that.
Indeed.
Or for example, if it's line of code,
create the demand.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You create that. That's the point here. Yeah. So you have to pay attention here. Yeah.
Question, small question. So if the primary metric is how much money a business earns,
Yeah.
what are the ways to achieve that?
So it depends. I mean, it depends on the business. But if you put more people on a project, well, you know, communication makes things harder. So you need more guys to do the same work.
Yeah.
So you have more hours. You build hours.
Or if you have a situation where you actually fraud,
Yeah.
you stop paying your taxes or something, that's a way of getting more money, which could be considered bad.
So it really depends on the business area, but yeah. So there might be some things that someone wants to optimize for to get more money. So now you see actually, that's the picture I used at the beginning, so that you had an idea how to put impact mapping into the picture where it actually belongs to. So you saw it's really at the level before we do everything else. Now, like one short question, I think we can do that in a group. What do you think? Where could you apply this technique? Just make an open round, everyone can answer. Where could you apply this technique?
Everywhere.
Can you give an example?
Everybody is in your personal life.
Yes. So for me, for example, if I want to plan my career, I define a goal, and then I just like draw the map, and then I can see what the options are. Yes.
And then you get the steps.
Yes. Then you define the steps, and that's then the kind of the
User
user
stories.
stories. But you know actually your connections to the certain things.
The map.
Yeah, the map.
You know the map.
Yeah. In business, obviously, right? But I'm not sure if the guy's not here anymore. I mean, he told me he's in a very enterprise environment, and when he does the project or the products, he is not there where you could define the goal or the steps, right? But for us as a developer, for example, it's important to know history. So sometimes you can also map the things backward.
Indeed.
So, of course, it's like post-mortem, actually, but it helps to understand. And if you have a picture, sometimes you might even get a picture from your business guys saying, hey, that's what we want to achieve, if they are transparent, right? So, it's just a tool also for understanding. It's not only for planning. Any other ideas where you could apply it?
Can I apply that, for example, as a learning tool?
Yeah.
So entrepreneurship, innovation.
Yeah.
Innovation works.
Exactly.
If you spot something, you know, like a problem, like why, and then
Yeah.
who has the problem, why, and how do you solve it differently also.
I recently had a very good question. You said the goal was given, right?
Yes.
So it's quite easy to start with the goal.
It's very difficult to establish the goals.
Yes. So just to find out what the goal for you is quite difficult. And it might be that you're in the process, you're redefining the goal actually.
That's even more difficult, I believe, sometimes.
Yeah.
Because that means that you have achieved some more primary goals that you had, so then the further goals,
No, maybe you have a better understanding of what you're targeting.
Could be also easier. You need
Yeah, but sometimes you need some process to get there to define the goal even more clearer, maybe more measurable and so on. Yeah.
Can you link this with design thinking?
I mean, design thinking would be a technique to create the product afterwards.
Yes.
So from where would you start when you would apply
like a
design
proof of
thinking?
concept or so when you want to find out more, find out if it
Yeah.
works.
But I could imagine design thinking would be a good starting point. Would be just go back here, maybe here. So you have a lot of room for ideas to create. It's not already a solution. So there you have much more space to create something. Yeah. So if you have the behavior change, then you're free. Exactly. So, yes. In the end, let's wrap it up. It's the thing, we are building actually roads and not the plan, which is like linear. And you have actually a chance to choose one or the other direction when you do something. And as I said before, it's very nice for experiments. So you just like switch the branch of your impact map and yeah, and try this. And of course there are certain other techniques you need to evaluate which branch you want to take and so on. But this is just like the big idea how you could apply that. Okay, so question is, what was your aha moment? And before we do that, another thing, what would you do tomorrow differently? I just want to know from everyone. So what was your aha moment? What will you do tomorrow differently? This is my Twitter handle, that's my friend. We actually run several workshops together, and it's also like a part of him was part of the workshop as well. So we work usually on those workshops together. So that's why he's also there. So if you want to tweet, use his handle as well, he will be happy. Okay, so what was your aha moment? What will you do tomorrow differently?
For me, it was the solution. The fact that you always state solutions by default. So we actually had that a few crosses there.
Yeah.
Even if you're told, when you speak it out, you still don't realize that you're actually saying a solution. It's very difficult from acknowledgement to facts. It's a difficult step.
Okay.
And to keep, actually.
Yeah.
Mine was different. We are usually targeted to suggest solutions, which might not be a bad thing. But on the other hand, you have so many solutions to this problem. And this exercise helped me to structure the things and just select a small set of them and allow me to compare and just choose a path. So for me, it was more to choose a set of actions to customize the solution, and rather than find the solution. Because initially I could say, okay, one of the 2 or 3 actions.
Yeah.
So it's more of structuring.
You know,
I really like the
options,
structure.
yeah.
I really like the structure.
Okay.
Was that, you know, like based on measurements or experimentation when you had to make? Did you attach any weights or any type of to help you choose? Just curious.
Yes, there were so many ideas, and then it helped me to just. I didn't do an exact measurement, but it was much easier for us to select the important ones.
Just.
So to set the values,
It might be that you say, I have to deliver in a month. Which path can you use for delivering in a month?
Indeed. You
So
can.
you
It's
actually
obvious.
take-
It gets obvious.
Yeah, and you also check you create your own checklist. And sometimes you even define in your environment yourself what brings business value. So you have to come up with probably your own measurements. Or maybe it's just gut feeling. But you see the other options. Yeah. Someone else?
Very much aligned with my colleagues, but I think that's what I will try to do differently tomorrow. Is first of all, I noticed that most of us in this room are solution oriented.
Yes.
So that's the same, not necessarily problem, but the same context for all of us. So what personally I will try to do differently is to focus a little bit more on what we're trying to fix.
Okay.
So what is the actual problem, or what are we trying to improve? And then come up with the solutions and not necessarily jump to the solutions immediately. So that's what I will try to do differently. My aha moment is that it seems in all areas and in all businesses the same problem applies. People are more focused on how to fix things than what do they need to fix. And sometimes this, and I noticed that also from my experience, sometimes you get to focus on things that are not necessarily that relevant. So that's why this workshop was very important.
Yeah. Someone else? Okay, then let's leave it there. Please don't forget the feedback. You know how it works with the QR code and the paper, so that would be also very valuable. Raimo did all the painting over there. It's very important that we have all the time feedback. So yes, I would really appreciate that. Okay, so yes, so I will be still around for roughly 1.5 hours. Afterwards, I have to take the plane. So if you have other questions or you want to discuss something with me, please use the lunch break. Great, thank you.